Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Tuesday, January 14th, and Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin will be giving his end-of-season remarks at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex on the South Side at 12:30 this afternoon. Stick around here on the YouTube channel. We may have a clip or two of Tomlin if he says something noteworthy. Otherwise, me and Smitty will break it all down at 6 on Steelers Afternoon Drive. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything here on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening somewhere else, give us a nice review and maybe we'll read it on the air. And we got lots of time to do stuff like that now. As we enter the 2025 offseason, today on this show, I am answering an outstanding question from a member of the audience, Desert Cactus, who spells cactus with, I was going to say with a K, but really it's with two Ks. And also appreciate the super chat here, Desert. He asked yesterday, guys, I am in crisis and I need you to help me understand, and I know you can. The draft is really how a team gets better, and I hear for 2 years how the Steelers had excellent drafts from many sources. Then I hear how the Steelers are nowhere near talented enough. I understand the importance of the quarterback, but I don't see Goff or Hurts as this otherworldly talent, and their teams are Super Bowl contenders. Make it make sense. Were the drafts just not that good in retrospect, or do you need like 4 more drafts to be talented? Yeah, this is sort of the big problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now that nobody is talking about. I briefly mentioned this. If you watch my appearance on The Final Word on WPXI on Sunday night. But when you look at the Steelers' recent draft history, it has not been very good. It has not been very good. And I'm not talking about this year and last year under Omar Khan. I'm talking about the guys that you should expect to be the core of this team should be players on their third year, fourth year, and guys that and then guys that are re-signed to long-term contracts. So from 2019 to 2021, in 3 draft classes consecutive, the Steelers signed 3 players to a second contract in 3 consecutive draft classes. Devin Bush traded up to get him. Huge miss. Deontay Johnson did sign Deontay to a second contract. Didn't even play out that second contract before they traded him for spare parts. Justin Lane, miss. Benny Snell, miss. Zach Gentry turned out to be a fine depth tight end. Sutton Smith, Isaiah Buggs, another depth player. Ulysses Gilbert, Derwin Gray. 2020, traded the first round pick for Minkah. Okay, I guess that's fair. But Chase Claypool, gone and probably out of the league. Alex Highsmith, there's your one hit. Anthony McFarland, last I heard he was in the UFL. Kevin Dotson, a good player. Well, they did get some value for trading him, but did not re-sign him. Antoine Brooks, Carlos Davis. 2021, still, I mean, I think the writing is on the wall. Najee Harris and Dan Moore aren't coming back. Pat Freiermuth, the one guy there, getting signed to a contract extension. Kendrick Green, already gone. Buddy Johnson, total bust. Quincy Roche, same. Trey Norwood, same. Presley Harvin, same. Isaiah Loudermilk, I guess, could get a second contract, but I wouldn't think it'd be a lot. And that's 3 years in a row where you're basically saying this from the 1920 and 21 draft classes, from the 1920 and 21 draft classes, the 25 Steelers are going to have 2 dudes, Pat Freiermuth and Alex Highsmith. That is why the team is not very good. It takes multiple years of draft classes to build an elite roster. The Steelers have a pretty good roster on defense. They don't have any talent on offense at all. One of the worst talented offenses in the entire NFL. Like, they just do not have talent. Okay. Especially at the positions that matter. Quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle. Like, they just didn't have it this year. Now, Fatanu being injured is a part of that. But look, the 2022 draft class isn't looking a lot better right now either, by the way. Kenny Pickett, already gone. George Pickens, nobody knows. Sure doesn't look like they're going to sign him to an extension as of right now. DeMarvin Leal, injured, not playing well. Calvin Austin, sure. Connor Hayward, Mark Robinson, I guess. Chris Oladokin, like, man, it's not good. Now, the last 2, I think, have some potential to be draft classes that are deep, that have multiple players that stick around for the team. You know, I think Broderick Jones and Joey Porter and Darnell Washington, Keanu Benton, Nick Herbig, Corey Trice, even Spencer Anderson looked really good in that Ravens game. Well, I wrote about that in my Southside Scoop column. One of the few guys you can really say, like, hey, really good job there. Troy Fatanu, we haven't even seen yet, but Zach Frazier looks awesome. Roman Wilson, very fair question, but Peyton Wilson looks great. Mason McCormick looks great. If the 2 6-rounders never turn out to be anything, fine. I think the Steelers had 2 really good drafts in a row under Omar Khan. Now, it's still early. We could be wrong about that, but I think they had 2 really good drafts in a row. I know they had 3 really bad drafts in a row, 4 really bad drafts in a row to end Kevin Colbert's tenure. Most of what is causing the problems on this team are directly related to those draft failures, right? The strategy, and it's not just the players too. It's like using a first-round pick on Najee Harris, swinging and missing on Kenny Pickett, not addressing the offensive line first. Like they went quarterback, tight end, and then quarterback wide receiver with their first 2 picks in 2021 and 2022 when they should have been developing the offensive line first. And they got it wrong. And I think when you look at the Steelers situation, and it feels in a lot of ways pretty hopeless, right? They're not going to get better at quarterback this year. They're just not. I'm sorry. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll like pull off a Dak Prescott trade or Geno Smith or Malik Willis. I don't know. Maybe something like that. But like, there's not an obvious way for this team to get better at quarterback this offseason. The only way for this team to get better is time and stacking good draft classes. And if you keep stacking draft classes like the last 2, it doesn't take that long. It's going to be like 2 more years. Actually, really interesting. So we were talking a little bit with Smitty yesterday about like, okay, what are some scenarios where keeping Mike Tomlin makes sense? And you know, if you're the Roonies and you're really dedicated to Mike Tomlin, you're like, this is our guy. We're not getting rid of him no matter what. You can run it back one more time in 2025 with basically the same plan you had in 2024, which is just incremental improvement. You have, but basically amounts to an extra first-round pick and an extra third-round pick coming into your team next year because Troy Fautanu and Roman Wilson missed basically the entire season with injuries. Okay, so you're going to have an elevated level of talent influx because of those 2 injured rookies from last year. Okay, go out and stack another really good draft class this year. And then in 2026, because they're not going to be bad, like somebody commented yesterday, and I'm sorry, I wish I had it in front of me. I don't. Like play Fields, worst case scenario is they go 5-13. No, if you play Fields, the worst case scenario is they go 8-9. 8-9 is worse than 5-13. 5-13 puts you in a good position in the draft. 8-9 is horrendous. That's the worst case scenario if you play Justin Fields, not 5-13. Also, I have a hard time believing that a Mike Tomlin-led team would ever be 5-13. I think I could play quarterback and he could win 6 games. And there's just too much talent on this team to be that bad. It is really hard to tank that badly from where your talent level is to get down there without. I mean, they could like trade TJ, sure, but like they're not going to be that bad. But if you stack a third good draft class on top of the last 2. I think then you could look at 2026, which looks to be a very deep quarterback class, and say, okay, we're going up for Arch Manning. We're going up for Aller. We're going to trade up and get Nussmeier from LSU. We're going to make a move for Quinn Ewers if he goes back. Whatever, I think there's a possibility of the Steelers looking at the Mahomes method, right? The Chiefs were a good team that wanted to get over the hump. They traded up to get Patrick Mahomes. I think that's in play in 2026. And if you're looking for hope, that's probably the most realistic place that I can find it. I'm not seeing a lot between now and then. That's all I got for today. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel so you don't miss a thing as we keep rolling through this Steelers offseason. And I'm loving all the comments from yesterday's shows. I feel the passion from you guys. I know you're upset and feeling it, and happy to be an outlet for you here on the YouTube platform and everywhere else. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy.